The reason guys you like don't like you. Hey guys, and welcome back. I just wanted to have this conversation because it is something that comes up so often in my one-on-one coaching sessions. I get this comment a lot on my TikTok page about just general attraction, right? Your attraction to somebody not necessarily leading anywhere, or this kind of annoyance and frustration with like, I really like this person, but they never like me back. I like this very particular type, but that type never likes me. And if that is something that you have experienced, if that is something that you are currently experiencing, then you are watching the right video. In case you guys don't know who I am, my name is Danny. I'm a self-esteem and love coach that works with gay and bisexual men. And I don't want to waste any more time. I want to get right into it because you're probably itching to figure out what the hell you should do in this type of situation. So if you are in a situation where, or you find yourself in a situation where this keeps happening, right? You keep falling into this pattern of liking a particular type of person and that person not liking you back. The first thing that we have to take into consideration is how you are coming off. Are you coming off too strong? Sometimes an aggressive approach is not the right approach. That's number one. And number two, sometimes you may not realize the difference between what would appear as confidence and what actually comes off as insecurity and, again, aggressive, right? If you are somebody who has experienced this time and time and time again, it's very important that you take a step back and you evaluate how you approach these situations now, right? Because usually it goes one of two ways. Number one, you either just kind of give up and you're like, you know what? Forget it. I'm not going to try to approach that person because every time I approach somebody that I'm attracted to, it never works out. Or two, you have this kind of like F it mentality and you just go right for it. The latter option, cool. That can be a display of self-confidence. But if you have been rejected multiple times, you have to be very cognizant about how you're approaching that situation and the energy that you're giving off. Because if you're giving too much of that F it mentality or F it energy or any of those things, that can translate when you're interacting with that person, and that person may be put off by that situation or by that interaction. The second thing here is that you ignore the signs. There are very clear signs that that person is not interested, right? So let me give you a perfect example. Let's say you are at a bar, you're at a club, you're with friends, you spot somebody who you find to be attractive, you look over their way, they look at you, and then they never look at you again for the rest of the night. If you take them looking at you that one time as a sign that they are interested, then you're probably not taking in the situation realistically. Usually there's more interaction there, even if it is non-verbal. Usually there are more cues that that person is interested. Another one here is just because somebody is being friendly does not necessarily mean that they are into you. There are other ways that you can tell if a person is into you. So if they are being friendly and they're having a conversation with you and they're chatting with you and you notice that they start to actually initiate physical touch, where they're touching your arm or they're laughing at your jokes, they're grabbing your shoulder and they're trying to essentially physically connect with you, okay, then maybe that is a good sign that things could progress and that you can maybe kind of take it to the next step. But if that is not happening and the person is just really kind of bubbly and fun and nice and all of those things, and you take that as them being flirtatious with you, then it is very possible that you are reading the room wrong. Some people naturally have a flirtatious personality, and I know that that can be very hard to read, but you want to make sure that you are waiting for some of these key signs to initiate anything beyond just that first level interaction, right? The third thing here is you just like the idea of him. You like the idea of this person. Oftentimes, when we have been rejected or we have struggled to attain the affection of somebody that we find to be interesting, we fall in love with the idea of getting that person or getting that type of person. So the next time we are in that situation, it's very important, or the next time that you're in that situation, it's very important that you differentiate how much of this is you being actually attracted to the individual as a person, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, physically, all those things, and how much of it is the idea of this person, the idea of the chase, the idea of finally overcoming and succeeding in attracting that type that you have, because that can be ego driven, right? And you want to be very careful with that. The fourth thing here is you're attracted to men that are emotionally unavailable. And if this is you and you find yourself in a pattern of being attracted to men that are emotionally unavailable, it's going to be very important that you take a step back and you reflect on that, right? What past experiences have you had in the dating world that have resulted in you finding this type of individual attractive? Now, when I say somebody who is emotionally unavailable, I mean somebody who is inconsistent when it comes to their interactions with you. I'm talking about somebody who lacks the ability to communicate, somebody who has verbally said to you that they are not looking for anything serious and that they are not available and that they are not wanting to be in a relationship, but you continue to chase anyways. Somebody who is not even part of the LGBTQ plus community, right? Fantasizing and falling in love with straight men and hoping that you're able to change them or get them over onto the queer side of things. That is somebody who is unavailable. And at that point, it's not a question of what is wrong with that person. It's a question of what is going on with you mentally and emotionally that you are focused on somebody who is unavailable, right? Is it a self-sabotaging pattern of behavior? Is it a self-fulfilling prophecy where you put yourself in these situations where you chase individuals that are unavailable because you, in some subconscious way, already know what the outcome is going to be, and there is some sense of comfort in that, in some weird kind of twisted, controlling way, right? Whatever the case may be, it's really important that you sit down and you reflect on those things. I've worked with many, many clients in the past who have been in this situation before, and we've unpacked those things bit by bit to get them into a better place mentally and emotionally to be able to connect and find somebody who they would have a better chance developing a relationship with. So if this is something that you are struggling with, this is something that you find to be an issue, reach out to me. Let's have a conversation, book a discovery call, book a coaching call. I'd be happy to connect with you and support you through that process. The fifth one here, like I said, is misinterpreting the interaction. Now, the reason why I said like I said is because I kind of mentioned the personality types, right? And somebody can be very kind and considerate and funny and all those things, and you might misinterpret that interaction as that person being flirtatious. The one thing that I tell people is do not go into a situation already assuming that that person is attracted to you. You want to be very present in that moment. You want to be very cognizant of the interaction between the two of you, verbally, non-verbally, and how things unfold organically. If you try to force the situation, if you already go into it with a confirmation bias, your perception of that situation is already going to be skewed. And the last thing here is that sex does not equate to a relationship. I know for a lot of people, you are fully aware of that fact. I know for a lot of people out there, you are in your exploratory phase and you're just kind of keeping things casual and hooking up, and there's nothing wrong with that. No judgment. Do you, right? It's for the individuals out there that a hookup situation turns into you thinking that it's going to turn into a relationship, even when they've expressed that they're not looking for a relationship and their actions do not align with somebody who is looking for a relationship. Yes, does sex connect to people on an intimate level? 100%. Does sex create a bond in that moment? 100%. But you cannot allow yourself to get too far ahead of yourself, especially if you have established that it was just going to be a casual encounter or a hookup or whatever the case may be. You have to make sure that you are very realistic in those moments. Now, if you come to find that that develops into something else and you start to kind of hang out more and there's a friends with benefits situation and maybe things are kind of progressing, then that's a totally different situation. I'm referring to those hookups or those one night stands, and you convince yourself that this is going to be the next person that you are in a relationship with. You got to get a reality check on that one. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know if you've been in this situation before. Leave me a comment. Let me know how you've handled this situation. I love having conversations with you guys because I think it's, at the end of the day, it's what it's all about, right? It's about connecting and having these conversations and sharing our stories with one another. If you are generally just struggling with dating and all of that stuff, I would highly recommend a course that I created, the 101 of Dating for Gay and Bisexual Men. It'll break all of that stuff down for you, and I will provide all that information in the description down below. I hope you guys are having an amazing day. Make sure you like and subscribe if you're enjoying the content, and I'll see you guys in the next video.